Very good morning to everyone. And today, as I always begin with some question. So today also, I want to ask you something very personal. That when was the last time you made a decision, a real decision, without first checking with at least one other person, right? We, you know, usually sometimes take validations. Now, that person can be your spouse, your mom, your colleague, your neighbor who always has something to say about everything. Then maybe it was something, as small as, क्या ये color अच्छा लगेगा? Maybe it was something as significant as a career choice, a financial decision, or simply what to cook for a Sunday gathering. We are, I believe, the most consensus seeking generation in human history. Not because we lack intelligence, but because somewhere along the way, we got confused between two very different things: taking counsel and seeking permission. And today, in the next few minutes, I want to unpack that distinction. Because how you handle this one thing shapes not just your decisions, but your entire sense of self. So today we talk about responding instead of seeking validation. So I begin with this thought that when you seek validation, you lose direction. Let me say that again, that when you seek validation, you lose direction. Think about that. Every time you run to someone else to confirm what you already know inside, you take one small step away from yourself and enough small steps in the wrong direction. And one day you look up and wonder, whose life am I actually living? So I want you to think about a compass, right? Let's build a story around it. A compass is a remarkably humble little instrument, right? Each one of us has used it. It doesn't have an ego, it doesn't have a PhD, it doesn't call a family meeting before pointing north. It simply knows. Yes, north is north, whether your mother-in-law agrees or not, whether your boss approves or not, whether your entire mohalla thinks it's a good idea or not. But imagine if a compass suddenly started asking people for directions. Bhai, do you think this is north? Didi, should I point this way? क्या आपको लगता है कि it would be useless? Worse than useless, in fact. It would be dangerous. And yet, that is what many of us do every single day. We have an internal compass, and it's called values. It's called lived experience. It's called intuition, and it knows. But we keep silencing it in favor of the noise outside. So let me share some validation seeking delay decisions. So let's meet Kavita ji today. She is 52 years old, homemaker extraordinaire. She decided she wanted to start a small tiffin service from home, something she thought about for years. But before she could begin, she had to check with her husband. Her husband said, ask your bhaiya what he thinks. Bhaiya said, consult a chartered accountant first. The CA said, speak to someone who's already done this. That someone said, you should really think carefully about this. 2 years passed. The tiffin service never started. Not because Kavita ji lacked skill. Her biryani alone is a life changing experience. But because she was waiting for a unanimous verdict from a committee that never quite agreed. So validation seeking doesn't just delay decisions, it transfers your authority to others. Then respond from values, not applause. So then there is Ananya, 38, working woman, senior manager to reputed firm. She got an offer to lead a new project. Challenging, yes. Unconventional, yes. Exactly the kind of thing that excited her. But she spent 3 weeks asking everyone around her, should I take it? Is it a good move? What if it doesn't work? Her team was cautious. Her friends were worried. Her mother said, Beta, stability is important at your age. The one person she forgot to ask was herself. So, responding from values means you ask, does this align with what I believe, with where I want to go? Not, will everyone clap for me when I do this? Because the applause is temporary, but your life is not. And now, not everyone needs to agree for it to be right. So, let's meet Vikram. He's 60-year-old, retired. His whole life, he'd wanted to learn classical music and specifically the tabla. But when he finally mentioned it after retirement, the reactions were mixed. His son chuckled, his wife looked mildly confused, and his brother said, at this age? Vikram Bhai put the idea back in the drawer, where it had been for 40 years, where it would probably stay for 40 more or forever, whichever came first. So here is what I want to say to every Vikram Bhai in this room. The tabla was not asking for a family vote. Your joy doesn't need a majority verdict. So not everyone needs to agree for it to be right. Inner clarity. Yes, inner clarity is greater than external approval. It has always been. The loudest voice in your life should be the one that knows you best. And that voice lives inside you and not in your WhatsApp group. So, inner clarity doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean you never take advice. It means you consult others with curiosity, not with desperation. There's a very significant difference. Advice from a place of clarity, like, let me hear different perspectives and then decide. But validation seeking from a place of fear, someone please just tell me what to do. So, as always, let's do today's small experiment. And I promise it won't take more than a moment. So, before the day ends, make one decision, any decision, without polling the room. That is more important. Without sending a message in the family group, without doing a quick round of क्या लगता है तुम्हें? It can be tiny, like what to order at dinner, whether to take that evening walk, whether to reply to that message or let it sit. Make the call from your gut, from your values, and then here is the important part. Notice how it feels, not the outcome, the feeling of having decided, of having trusted yourself. Because I've seen many people don't even talk to their spouse. So let it be their decision. Talk to him or her without feeling or before deciding what might go wrong. That feeling, that is the beginning of something. So today I leave you with this. You were not born to be approval of. You were born to live fully from the inside out. The world will always have opinions. Some will be loving, some will be well intentioned, and some will simply be noise dressed up as wisdom. So, your job is not to silence the world. Your job is to hear yourself clearly enough that the noise doesn't drown out your direction. So, here is your call to action for the day. Today, make one decision without seeking a verdict. Yes. And tomorrow, make another. And slowly, one unasked question at a time, you will rediscover the most trustworthy voice in your life, your own. Yes. And with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.